Welcome to Spectrum Sphere, where every week we dive into a diverse world of discovery. Today, we're unraveling the revolutionary ideas of the Age of Enlightenment that shaped the modern world. If you're ready for an insightful journey, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get enlightened. The Age of Enlightenment, also known as the Age of Reason, was a cultural and intellectual movement that swept through Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries. It emphasized reason, science, and individualism over tradition and superstition, profoundly changing the way people viewed the world and themselves. At the heart of the Enlightenment was a new confidence in the power of reason. Philosophers believed human intellect could uncover the laws of the universe and society. This trust in reason was the foundation for questioning traditional authority and dogma, setting the stage for seismic shifts in politics, science, and society. Voltaire championed civil liberties and criticized intolerance. His wit and satire targeted the church and the state, questioning dogma and advocating for freedom of speech. His ideas significantly contributed to the Enlightenment's call for reform and continue to influence our modern advocacy for human rights and separation of church and state. Swiftly turning our gaze to another luminary, Jean-Jacques Rousseau introduced a groundbreaking concept that still echoes through modern society: the social contract. Rousseau argued that legitimate political authority relies on a contract between the governed and those governing, a mutual agreement designed to ensure communal harmony and individual freedom. John Locke, an icon of the Enlightenment, profoundly influenced political theory. He championed the idea of a government as a protector of life, liberty, and property, with power granted by the consent of the governed. Locke's vision laid the groundwork for modern democracy and the principle of individual rights. Moving on, Baron de Montesquieu introduced the groundbreaking concept of the separation of powers. He argued for dividing government into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial, each with distinct responsibilities and checks on each other. This model was vital in shaping the constitutions of modern democracies around the world. The scientific revolution, a precursor to the Enlightenment, played a pivotal role. Pioneers like Galileo and Newton challenged traditional views, placing reason and empirical evidence at the forefront of inquiry. This shift laid the intellectual foundation for Enlightenment thinkers to question and ultimately reshape societal norms and governance. As the Enlightenment unfolded, it also ushered in a new perspective on religion, marked by increasing skepticism. Figures like David Hume critically examined religious doctrines, advocating for a more human-centric approach to morality and existence, which encouraged people to seek answers beyond traditional religious narratives. Diderot's magnum opus, the Encyclopedia, became the torchbearer of Enlightenment, democratizing knowledge like never before. Compiling works from many great minds, it aimed to catalog all human knowledge, to educate the masses, and to challenge the established societal and religious norms by promoting critical thinking and empirical evidence. Transitioning from the spread of knowledge, let's venture into the salons of France, the vibrant hubs of intellectual and cultural exchange. Here, philosophers, writers, and artists gathered to discuss and debate ideas. These salons served as a catalyst for progress, profoundly influencing political and social discourse of the time. Moving from philosophical circles, the Enlightenment profoundly reshaped art and literature. Artists and writers began to prioritize reason, nature, and human experience, often critiquing established norms. This era birthed neoclassicism in art and a surge in novels that explored individualism, contributing to a cultural revolution still influential today. The American Revolution was a crucible of Enlightenment thought. Key figureheads like Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin were deeply influenced by these progressive ideals, which emphasized individual liberty and democratic governance. These principles were etched into the Declaration of Independence, igniting a political upheaval that echoed around the world. Moving to the realm of rulers, we encounter enlightened absolutists like Catherine the Great of Russia and Frederick the Great of Prussia. Both monarchs embraced Enlightenment values, promoting arts, science, and education, while reforming government to increase efficiency. Their reigns highlight the paradox of absolute rulers implementing progressive reforms to shape modern states. As we delve into revolutionary fervor, the Enlightenment's influence on the French Revolution becomes starkly apparent. The Revolution's core ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity were directly inspired by Enlightenment thinkers who challenged the established order. Their call for human rights and representative government became the battle cries of a society poised for monumental change. Transitioning from the French Revolution, let's explore the relationship between the Enlightenment and classical liberalism. This intellectual movement advocated for personal freedom, limited government, and economic liberty, principles shaped by Enlightenment philosophers. These ideas laid the groundwork for modern democracies, emphasizing individual rights and the rule of law. As we delve deeper into the Age of Enlightenment, it is important to note the critiques that emerged. Romanticism arose as a direct response, focusing on emotion and nature over reason and order. Romantics argued that not all human experiences could be quantified by rational thought, highlighting the importance of the subjective and the spiritual. Turning to economics, we encounter the towering figure of Adam Smith. His seminal work, The Wealth of Nations, laid the foundations for modern economic theory, arguing for free markets and the invisible hand that guides supply and demand. Smith's ideas on capitalism and free trade remain influential to this day. As the flames of Enlightenment thought spread, the realm of education was ignited. Modern education is profoundly shaped by this era's emphasis on reason, critical thinking, and empirical evidence. Today's academic curricula echo the Enlightenment's call for broad-based knowledge, secularism in learning, and the intellectual empowerment of individuals. The Enlightenment was a crucible for democratic ideals. Philosophers like Locke and Rousseau challenged the divine right of kings, arguing for the sovereignty of the people. Their ideas paved the way for representative government, institutionalizing principles of freedom and equality that would eventually inspire revolutions and shape modern democracy. The Enlightenment brought a fundamental shift in legal reforms and justice. Influencers like Voltaire and Beccaria sought to eradicate torture and unfair trials. This period saw the birth of rights-based laws and the push for judicial equity, leading to more humane punishments and the beginnings of the modern penal system. While the Enlightenment was a beacon of progress, it wasn't without criticisms. Some argue it fostered a narrow rationality that marginalized other forms of knowledge. Furthermore, many Enlightenment thinkers failed to challenge existing social hierarchies, and their philosophies sometimes justified colonialism and the suppression of non-European cultures. As Enlightenment ideals spread, they influenced European imperial policies. Philosophies of reason and progress were employed to justify colonial expansion, claiming moral and civilizational superiority over colonized peoples. Yet, these interactions also led to the exchange of knowledge and the questioning of traditional European assumptions about culture and governance. Despite the Enlightenment's calls for liberty and equality, gender debates raged on. Women like Mary Wollstonecraft challenged societal norms, arguing for women's rights and education. Their voices were crucial in planting the seeds for future feminist movements, striving for a place within the Enlightenment's promise of progress and reason. The era also sparked a wave of technological innovation. The steam engine, refined by James Watt, revolutionized transportation and industry, heralding the Industrial Revolution. Inventions like the lightning rod by Benjamin Franklin displayed the practical application of scientific knowledge, embodying the Enlightenment's spirit of discovery and improvement. As the Enlightenment's ideas rippled through Europe, they profoundly impacted modern philosophy. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant were inspired to explore concepts of reason, morality, and autonomy. Their work laid the foundation for existentialism, phenomenology, and other schools of thought that grapple with human existence and freedom. Moving forward, the Enlightenment era birthed theories of progress that envisioned society advancing through reason and science. Influential thinkers like Condorcet championed the idea of endless improvement, with humankind's potential at the forefront. The belief that rational thought could perfect human existence became a cornerstone of modernity. As we delve deeper into the legacy of the Enlightenment, it's clear that its principles profoundly shaped modern science. The emphasis on empirical evidence and critical reasoning led to groundbreaking scientific methodologies. This ripple effect transformed how we approach research, ushering in an era of discovery that continues to evolve today. Moving into the 21st century, the Enlightenment's influence persists in our global discourse on freedom, ethics, and governance. Its tenets underpin modern democratic institutions and inform debates around human rights and equality, proving that the quest for reason and progress continues to be a beacon for our society. As we reflect upon the Age of Enlightenment's enduring legacy, we can see its principles interwoven with the fabric of contemporary society. The values of reason, science, and individual liberty remain cornerstones of our democratic ideals, framing our ongoing conversations about human rights, justice, and progressive thought. Thank you for exploring the Age of Enlightenment with Spectrum Sphere. If you found this journey through history enlightening and inspiring, show your support by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more diverse and thought-provoking content, joining us as we continue to discover our amazing world together.